So these are the tablets. Phone dialer.
Yep.
That's your phone.
Message your text
Messaging.
And you get
Free
video
profile. Video. Law library.
Yep.
Can I hit this?
Yep.
Oh.
There we go. So you can bring to the law library. Yep.
So you can actually access the law library from these?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Westlaw.
Yep.
What? That's fire. Let me click back out. Square.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome, all my people. We have an exciting episode today. So we're going through Sarah's discovery, and I thought you guys would get a kick out of this video I found of the prison tablets, the bulky tablets that Sarah always complains about. And in the back, if you notice, you can see the bunks where they sleep. And that's where Sarah wanted to keep all of her discovery, just laid out boxes and boxes of discovery in that small section that she was supposed to share with someone else. And a shout out to one of my favorite people, Edie Beatty. She found the eye care package with the famous wings and burgers that Sarah likes. It's pretty pricey too for a small pizza and a few wings. Tally that up every day. It's no wonder Brian Boone said, "Check please," as Mr. J said. Sarah Boone can get a little bit expensive with her handles and cigarettes and all of her crazy requests. Java, Jumping Java, Delicious Delights.
Then you called Brian.
Yes. He
told
came
him
over.
to come over.
Yes, he came over.
He lives down the road, right? Not very far. He came over, walked in, basically walked out. You called 911.
Yes, I had my phone in my hand. I just wanted to wait for him to get there because I didn't know what to do.
Right.
Brian, because I was supposed to have my son today to pick him up from school. Brian usually calls to make sure, hey, are you sure? So after he called like maybe 3, 4 times, maybe 5, I finally answered, and that's like...
Do you think you were sleeping and missed those calls?
No, I ignored them.
You ignored them?
Because he's notorious for blowing up my phone.
Okay.
But I understand why, because he's making sure that Lucas gets home.
Right, yeah, okay.
And to do whatever he needs to do day-wise so he can schedule around it.
Were you upstairs in your room at that time when you were ignoring those phone calls?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, again, I didn't know what to do, so I called Brian, my ex-husband. I called him, he came over, just walked in, and then walked out. I grabbed my phone, and I called you guys. From there, here we are.
Okay.
Sarah to Lana. Subject is status report. Forgive me. I love you. I've been working my ass yesterday and today with what I can do with this basic laptop and viewing/listening to anything impossible with noisy inmates from these USB drives. No one thought any of this through. I've so much to tell you. Tomorrow, I go back to court. Remember, at 8:45 to supposedly be unhandcuffed in the courtroom from one of my last motions. We'll see. Another everlasting day starting at 2:30 a.m. Pray I am unhandcuffed and don't have to fight anymore about it. I'm also hand delivering the 8-page copy of my request to the captain. Everyone will know I'm trying and limited and oppressed. My favor. I promise I'll call or write extensively. If I'm not working or writing or figuring, I'm crashed out from sheer exhaustion mentally and physically. I know you understand. I pray you are super and smiling. I love you lots. I will be in touch this weekend. Don't give up on me. Friends forever and no matter. Remember? Thank you, Lana. P.S. Can you please text POS FH, POS former husband, about finally giving me commissary? He keeps promising me he will, and buy me finally the coffee package he's been promising me for over a year. I refused to call him like last week so as not to bother you, but I don't need any more stress from his meanness and lies. He owes me, and I have nothing. And yes, send me his credit card statement when you can, ASAP. Try and put on the envelope legal mail with my address to see if it gets to me, please. P.O. Box, and she lists the P.O. Box. I can use this in court against him. Badass biatch. I'll hit you up this evening. Again, forgive me. Text a-hole. Love you. Heart. Thank you. Heart. And again, Sarah is trying to persuade Lana to use the Esquire title on top of her assistant title.
Okay, so not really sure what time you woke up initially, but you were upstairs collecting your thoughts. You figured he was on the laptop downstairs, so you were just getting ready for your day.
Yes.
You finally got out of bed at sometime after 11 a.m. And had gone downstairs.
Yes.
Okay.
Looking for him, and
couldn't find him. You looked outside, couldn't find him anywhere.
He wasn't in the bathroom. I was thinking maybe he's in the bathroom. But then I came to and remembered the suitcase.
Okay, now this message is very important to Sarah because she copy-pasted it and sent it to both Lana and Christina. The subject for Lana is hi, question, already, yes, sorry. And the subject to Christina is hey, need you, love you. And the message reads, love you. Working on this letter. Need your input, please. Thinking about you and hoping you're having a good morning to turn into a good day. Good everything all the time. I'm sorry I'm bothering you so early, but I gotta get this done. I have been designated to be an attorney by the court. Yes, I should be 1. Treated with equality, respect, dignity, professionalism, fairness. 2. Unshackled, uncuffed, unsubdued, to reasonably utilize the courtroom comfortably. 3. Given adequate, proper, fair notice of any and all meetings, conferences, hearings to be rightfully prepared, including in all correspondence to, from, all parties affiliated and included in my case. I should be automatically included in everyone's certificate of service. Sidebar, Sarah made big deals out of the certificates of service during her trial. Given reasonable and fair time frames, due dates, deadlines, given unrestricted access to all forms of my discovery, hard copies, and digital. We are going through your discovery right now, Sarah. And then Sarah lists supplies. I need essential supplies such as pens, paper, stamps, envelopes, folders, paper clips, plastic, highlighters, etc. What else should I include? What do other attorneys have or need or use I am forgetting? I have more info and details to add to each I have so far, but need to get this completed to start working on continuance. I'm praying I can take with me to the hearing for the unlimited USB drives of my discovery. And am I supposed to do a motion for all of this? I'm doing this like now. Everyone will get to see. I'm trying, as usual, as always. Help, ASAP. Love you. Thank you. We shall prevail. You are my best friend. Thank you. Are my motions up? Love, 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 love you.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but my whole thing is the whole teeth losing thing, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know what he and I were having an amazing time yesterday like we normally do.
And Sarah has a quick response to Lana under the same subject. Hi, question, already, yes, sorry. And the subject reads, frustration, who is CLR? What does it stand for? He outright said I'm guilty? How does anyone know this? They only think it from all the BS online and mutated. Who's uploading what videos? WTF? Any positive news? The only thing he liked was the stupid flyer? Wow. Taking a mental break. This is too much. Thank you. Love you. Sarah to Lana, and the subject is attorneys for cases. I forgot to add to the last message. Have you spoken to the Delphines about the attorney for the criminal case and family? Can you please verify they are going to hire attorneys for these two cases? Or are they proposing just having me ask some questions I need answered? Please find out. It hit me over the head last night for some reason that this is too much for me to do. I mean, I will if I have to, but this is extreme, Lana. How am I going to do this in real trial? It's all about ratings and entertainment now. No one cares. They just want to watch the show. I need an attorney. There's nothing else to be said. So, what were they going to do specifically so I can plan going forward? Please find out ASAP. Thank you. Not feeling it today and sick of stressing about everything. Love you. You know I'm grateful, like I keep saying to you. And the same for me in your situation. You will never know what I'm going through, nor will I you. Just not feeling it today. Doing my best. I know you are too. Love you. Thank you. Sounds like this discovery process is overwhelming Sarah. And it has exposed tons of communications with all sorts of people, like former correctional officers and employees at the facility. So we have Diane Smith incoming to Sarah, and the subject is, hello Sarah. Well, good morning. I just wanted to let you know I'm thinking about you and missing you very, very much. Seems strange. I can't just come visit with you like I did in the old days. Danielle called me the other day and told me that you were on TV, so I found and watched for a while. Wish I could have been there with you. It seems like you have a pretty good judge. You did amazing handling yourself without an attorney in court, something most people would never attempt. Brave girl! Exclamation. So, how do you think everything is going? What's going on in Bravo? What's the worst thing that happened lately? And what's the best thing that happened lately? If you see Officer Fulton or Frank, tell him hello for me. Also, have you met the senior chaplain? A new chaplain named Jackie. Have you met her yet? Haven't seen Christina lately. She's gone to a family reunion. She sent me pictures of her family yesterday. She has a beautiful mother. What an awesome thing to be reunited and experience restoration with her loved ones. The Lord is good. Frankie and I are well. 4 days ago, my nose started running. I got violently sick on my stomach and got diarrhea and started feeling disoriented. So I prayed for an hour. I took some silver water and some supersonic, and within a couple hours, I felt the sickness just leave me. God is amazing. The devil is a liar. Well, I hope to hear from you soon. Do you need me to send you message credits? Forever love you. Diane. Sidebar. Christina is out living her life. She's reunited with her family. And I think it's getting under Sarah's skin just a little bit. Sarah's not feeling really good today. She sent Christina a message and the subject is no love. Sigh. Christina, I'm in jail with no attorney, representing myself with no resources, internet, phone, a laptop that doesn't open all my files, with nothing in my drawer from my POS MFing FH, not paying me anything for years, and I've got so much to do, I don't even know where to start with any of it. So no, not okay. Miss Diane wants you to contact her. Hope you're okay and enjoyed your time with your family. Your pictures are great. Thank you for sharing. Sounds like this discovery process has Sarah a little bit overwhelmed. What are your thoughts about that message? We are going to listen to another fan mail from Megan. Let's check out this fan mail and then we'll get into the interview from the apartment manager at Tillwood Apartments. Megan Sexton to Sarah Boone. Subject is just a friendly hi. Good morning, Sarah. I hope you are staying strong. I saw some recent headlines, but have not had a chance to catch up. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I have MS and I had to go get my treatment the other day, which was an IV infusion that just completely wipes me out for several days. So I apologize for the delayed response. I think I understand more than most because last year I was wrongly arrested and treated horribly. Fortunately, I was able to prove this relatively quickly, and recently everything was expunged. However, to call the experience traumatic is an understatement. My entire life was destroyed. Sarah, I lost everything I valued in life, but I also found an inner strength I did not know I had. Someone once told me there were two types of people in this world who, when we're faced with major obstacles like that, those who become victims and those who become survivors. Victims curl up and blame the world. They give up and resign themselves to be miserable forever. Survivors find a way to make the most of each situation that they are put in and keep fighting no matter how high the mountain in front of them. I think we are cut from the same cloth in that regard. Your strength is admirable. My YouTube channel covers court cases and hearings. I generally cover smaller cases, divorce, child custody hearings, protective orders, drug possessions, bond hearings, etc. I have covered several high-profile trials. I love research, so I try to find cases where I can find the backstory. I want my viewers to see the entire picture of what happened. Hey, sidebar. Go ahead, Megan, I get you. Not just the limited facts that may be presented in court. I have no covered your case to this point. She must have meant not. I have not covered your case to this point. There are tons of channels much larger than mine covering your case. I didn't feel like there had been enough information made public up until this point to really present a comprehensive overview. The last high-profile case I covered from the mother of the Oxford school pew-pewer, I am not sure if you are familiar, but the parents of the boy who committed the crime were charged with involuntary manslaughter. They said that the mother was aware of her son's mental health issues and did nothing. Also, the father purchased the weapon for him and failed to keep it locked up. I opposed those charges. While I think that they were SHITTY parents and should have done more, I strongly disagree, and still do, with making parents responsible for the actions of a child. I never set out to survive off income from YouTube. It started as kind of a hobby. My life was a hot mess a couple years ago. I was diagnosed with MS on my 40th birthday, which happened to be a few weeks before the country went on lockdown for the big 19. My fiance at the time lost his SHIT being stuck in the house 24/7 and literally went from being a good, stable person to being crazy, abusive, and verbally and physically. He messed with my head to the point I thought I was the crazy one. After he broke my foot, then hit a GUN in the house and told me he thought every day about deleting me, I came to my senses and kicked him out before he could. The problem was I couldn't work at the time because of the MS, so I had to find a way to pay the bills. I was dabbling in YouTube just for fun. I wanted to go to law school, but ended up in finance. I enjoyed watching the court cases, so putting them on YouTube was not a ton of work. My channel slowly grew into a solid source of income, which has been nice. I will never make major money like some of the channels because I refuse to sell out like they do. Most of the other channels have zero care for the people they are covering. Innocent until proven guilty means nothing to them. I will admit, I am not perfect, but I do my best to be fair. I honestly never thought about the fact that I could help you with my channel. I was more concerned with you thinking I was going to publish something I shouldn't, which I would never do. I am happy to help you in any way I can. Sorry for babbling on. Stay strong, Sarah. Stay focused. Keep fighting for what is right and true. That, according to the riches of his glory, he may grant you to be strengthened with power through his spirit in your inner being. Ephesians 3:16.
Today's date is February 26, 2020. The time now is approximately 12:05 hours. This is in reference to Orange County case number 20-017904. I'm currently located at Tealwood Park Apartments, 4704 Lucier Court, Winter Park, Florida 32792. I am here with my partner, Detective Scott Long with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. And can you state your name?
Melissa May Sexton.
And your birthday?
2/16/80.
You are the property manager of this complex, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we had Kim in here asking about the tenants, Sarah Boone and George Torres. And they have lived here. You gave us a date of February 9th, 2018?
Correct.
Okay. You had told us that Sarah would confide in you about her and George's relationship. Can you tell us further what she would tell you?
Yes. Sarah, shortly after she moved in with George, she came to the office to talk to me. We noticed bruises and stuff on her, and she asked me if she could talk to me privately and asked how she would be able to get George off of the lease. Is there any way to do that? Which prompted, deeper conversation. She proceeded to let me know, and she was showing me a lot of bruises and marks. There were handprints, scratches. She even at one point had to go to the hospital. Through multiple conversations that we had, it steadily progressed. She had a very large gash at one point in her shin. She had to go to the hospital and get that taken care of. I'm not exactly sure what it was from, but I think it had to do when they got into a fight outside and something got broke. I think it was one of their wine glasses or something. But she came to me at one point asking, what do I do? Like, how can I get rid of him? I've never dealt with this type of situation. I just counsel her as she continued to come to me and explain to her that, she had to make a decision if she was going to stay with him or not be with him. If she, was going to try to work things out, they needed to seek out therapy, help, something. It wasn't too long after that last conversation that I found out the police had come and George was arrested. I don't remember about how long it was in between time, but there was another incident after that where they both got arrested, all for domestic. The complaints I've had throughout their whole term, roughly about 20 to 30 noise complaints, fighting, arguing, banging on doors, loud music. It was just always something pertaining to their lifestyle. I do know that I have seen both of them intoxicated as early as 9 o'clock in the morning, and I mean staggering, falling down, intoxicated. Both of them.
Okay.
There was a noise complaint that I had received about some fighting one day that was going on, and Sarah was actually wandering around the property very drunk, barefoot, not properly dressed, I'll say it like that, sitting on the side of her building over by the retention pond. When I was told about that is when I approached Sarah, sat down, talked to her. I even had also separately went and talked to George and told them that once they had sobered up, I needed to have a meeting with them. The following business day, because this was a Friday, I do remember that, I went to see them Monday, roughly about 12 o'clock. They were sober. They apparently had some epiphany, that they were going to straighten themselves up and start acting right. And they did very good for, basically until now. I haven't gotten any complaints since May of the past year, But up until that point, the complaints were consistent, monthly, always.
Would you ever speak with George by himself? Like, did he ever confide in you about their relationship?
The one time where, like I was just saying, that when I talked to her, she asked me to go talk to him. But she's like, please go put the fear of God in him. Fear of God in him. I'm a very stern property manager. I don't tolerate a whole lot of crap.
Right.
And she knew that, and she seemed scared of him at the time. So I said, sure, no problem, just stay here. We'll go talk to him. I went over, sat down, talked to George. I talked to him for about 30 minutes altogether. And, George had explained to me that she was actually the aggressive one. And the reason she ended up with marks is, in my perception of what he was trying to explain is that she's very hands-on, in the face, dramatized in talking and explaining or fussing or whatever they might have been doing.
Right.
And I believe that because Jean, my assistant, doesn't even like to deal with her, would avoid her like the plague, because she was always drunk and she's very hands-on. There was one day, as a matter of fact, it was that same day that I talked to George by himself, she kept grabbing me by the arms to the point that I told her, I said, if you touch me one more time, we're going to have a problem. I'm either going to contact the police or whatever we need to do, but you can't keep grabbing on me. I had asked her several times to quit touching me. And because of that, she would do the same thing to Jean, and Jean didn't like it.
Right.
So, that's what he was explaining to me, is she was always the touchy one, the aggressive one, not that she was hitting him, but she would be like in his face, or she might, push him, or, little things like that. And she would block him from coming out of the room or whatnot, and he would take her and move her. You know what I mean? And just, that's the way he had explained it to me.
Right.
She has told me, even literally to Monday, I have been told by her several occasions that he has drugged her around by the hair of her head. I've been, told about by neighbors. I'm sorry I don't have it anymore, but at one point a tenant actually sent us a video clip via text of them two fighting and beating on each other out in the backyard. There was another complaint incident about a ladder being propped up to the wall that George was using to climb over the wall to try to get back into his apartment, sneaking in and out. There was another night, sorry, I forgot to tell you about this too. I got a call for one of my vacants in building 24, 4724, which is not the building. There was a tent set up on my vacant back porch. And it's apparently where George was sleeping for a couple of nights because she had him out of the house. I have another tenant here who may or may not speak to you, I'm not sure. For that reason, I don't want to give you her name just yet without talking to her, but George and her fighting the different evening had actually wandered into her home. He was so drunk and had no idea where he was, and when she came home, luckily her kids were not there because she's a single mother with 3 kids. George was actually upstairs in her house hollering, looking for Sarah, thinking he was in his apartment. So we've had some incidences with them in that aspect, but nothing has ever been so bad that, I didn't feel that we could resolve the problem. And like I said, we haven't had any issues since May of last year. No complaints, no nothing until this. So we thought, hey, they're doing great. Maybe they fixed their problems. I mean...
Has she come to you since May of any issues?
No.
Okay.
Not one time.
But then, again, you did basically, they were told you're going to be evicted if there are.
Yes.
So it was kind of like tighten up or get out.
Yeah, it was put up or shut up. I was over it.
Yeah.
If it continued, I was putting them out.
Right.
So.
Did you ever see any marks on George?
No. Not one. Not one. George was a little bit darker skinned.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Would you see George as often as you saw Sarah? It sounds like Sarah came to you a lot more than. Yeah.
We would always see Sarah. As far as the only time I ever really saw George is the time when we actually got George to sign off the lease.
Right.
And he came to me and said, I can't get back in the house. She's got all my personal paperwork because would you please have a conversation with her so that I can get my personal paperwork back from her? He goes, but do you have a set of bolt cutters for my bicycle that's out back? And I said, what's it chained to? And he said, it's actually chained to your AC unit. I said, yeah, no problem. I'll cut the lock. I'll cut the lock for anything attached to my AC unit. It's not supposed to be attached to that.
Right.
So I went out back and actually cut the lock on both of the bike locks because Sarah would not answer the door for me because she knew George was there. Once George was gone, she had actually, because Sarah had my cell phone number, being that I had already went through and just got out of a very abusive relationship, Sarah knew that because, I confided in her and explained that. She did feel a lot more comfortable in coming to me. So I told her if she ever needed someone, or it was an emergency, she could reach out to me and I would do what I could to help her. I felt bad for her. But after a while, when she just kept taking him back, I just told her, I said, you're just going to have to call the authorities. You're on your own. Yeah. It's obvious you don't want it to stop. He's not doing anything to get help according to you, and you just keep dealing with it. I mean, there comes a point where it's just stupidity. But that's the run-ins and incidences that I've had with him. I've never seen a mark on George, and he's never told me that she's hit her at all.
Okay.
But she has told me in front of him that he has hit her and things that he's done, and he was not denying it. He never denied it. So, George and her both expressed to me on many occasions that they knew they needed help. But I'm guessing due to their financial situation, not having any work, probably why they didn't do much.
Right.
When you saw them together, who looked to be like more dominant? I mean, did one seem to be more dominant over the other?
George was very confident. He wasn't arrogant or anything. He, for the most part, stayed to himself. Like I said, there are a couple people here that he knew, from, I will say, another life from Philadelphia. And, George was the one I always seen driving the vehicle. George is the one I always seen playing with the child. Never saw Sarah outside playing with her kid, ever. As a matter of fact, most of the time, Lucas, you would find him riding around the property on his bike, unattended. No parents outside, no nothing. Because I had actually had a conversation with Sarah about that. And I said, the kid was a great kid, don't get me wrong, he never did anything to get me in trouble, but he was more my concern for his well-being. When he's all the way riding over here, around some of these corners with the dumpsters, these people don't see nobody, and they sure ain't gonna see no kid on that. So I had a conversation with her about that, and we haven't had any really problems. I can say I've only seen Lucas on his bike away from her like that twice. She actually had secluded him to stay in front of the building, which was fine. I just didn't want him all the way together. But yeah, you didn't see Sarah out at all. The only time I ever saw her, especially after the incident that took place with Emmett and his ex-girlfriend, it was more like a confrontation that took place in the office. She made an accusation on Emmett saying that he was trying to forcefully, I don't want to say rape, but he was trying to push himself on her.
On Sarah?
On Sarah. She made that claim.
Some tenant? A different tenant?
Yeah, another tenant that knew George from Philly. And they confronted the two of them. I will say Sarah held her ground when the girl confronted her and asked her and said, don't lie to my face. And Sarah said, yeah, he did. So I was surprised because she knew that girl was over her butt. And she's larger than me. So, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, well, maybe there's some truth to that. But it ended up, just fizzling out. It was no big deal. After that situation took place, you really didn't see Sarah too much. She was pretty intimidated. Those two folks are actually a pretty large family that I have living here on site that actually took up 4 units at that time. So the whole family lived here. You know, it's a little intimidating. So after that, we really didn't see a whole lot of her.
But before that, they would hang out periodically, you said.
The other two families, no. They just knew each other from back in the day.
Oh, the couple did?
The kids did.
The kids did
Yes,
that.
that's what initially prompted it, and then that accusation was made during that same time.
Okay.
So, and when it comes to the kids on my property, I stay very involved with them. We have some issues with our bus routes and all kinds of stuff, and we had some kid vandalism being done, broken glass bottles. They were pulling glass bottles out of the trash, breaking them, thought it was fun. And one kid told on another, then the parents got involved. It became a little bit of an issue, so I had to get in the middle to squash it, you know. I didn't want anybody fighting on the property or kids getting hurt for that matter. But that's it.
Is there anything else that you think is important for us to know about Sarah or George that we haven't discussed?
I mean, no, I don't. Nothing really. Her nickname's Drunky the Bear. I mean, you know, literally. We know they drank from sunup to sundown.
Would she ever, I know she confided in you a lot, would she ever admit that she was an alcoholic to you?
Yeah.
She would?
Yes. I wish I still had my text messages. I sent it to me on text on many occasions. I know we drink too much and blah, blah, blah. She had told me that George one time had enrolled in AA and was getting help. Now, whether that was any truth, I have no idea. A lot of stuff like that I just take with a grain of salt.
Right.
You know, I think she was more concerned about the image that was being put in my head for them, and I think she was just trying to paint a prettier picture.
Right.
Because I will say, it was like a week later, she was drunk. And when we go, you know, inspecting the property and walking around different projects, we do a lot of pressure washing throughout the year. We do that a couple of times. You know, I ride around the back sides of the buildings, checking everything out. We've got a property drainage system back there. You always knew, because you'd ride back there and you'd hear them 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, they're drunk, falling down, cutting up. My God, I can't imagine being drunk like that all the time. Jeez.
Okay. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes.
Promise and swear everything we've talked about has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Sends a recording 12 to 20 hours.
If you made it this far, you know I appreciate you, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to let me know where you're watching from in the comment section, and I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.